What's good, people? Daniel K back at it again with another one. Today we've got something a little bit different. It's not the usual reaction to a football player, to a montage. I'm doing more of an analysis. Obviously the Champions League final was last night. I watched it, I went out, watched it in the pub. And I just want to talk about it a little bit, and I want to give my 2 cents in. I want to break down a little few things, and then we'll go from there. First of all, let me just congratulate Chelsea. Congrats on winning your 2nd ever Champions League. Amazing performance. They came there with a game plan, they executed it perfectly. And you just have to take your hat off. If I had a hat, I'll take it off for you. But yeah, really good performance. Commiserations to Man City and to the Man City fans. I know you guys have worked so hard to obviously get to this point, and it is obviously demoralizing to get so far, and then obviously to lose in the final is no worse. There isn't anything worse than that, so in terms of football. I do feel like, I'm not trying to discredit Chelsea's win by no means, because they deserve to win, they were the better team. However, some of the choices made by Man City aided Chelsea into winning this Champions League. For starters, Pep's bogus decision of not starting a centre defensive midfield for one of the greatest managers of all time to not start a holding midfielder, either Rodri or Fernandinho. It's bogus to me. I can't wrap my head around it. I obviously understand that he was going for more of an attacking style, and then I'm guessing that the game plan was score, and then just sit back, counter attack, keep possession of the ball, typical Pep football. Turned out that Chelsea had a much better game plan. Chelsea got a lot more defensive team, defensive-minded team, and they caught Man City on counter-attack multiple times, and even going forward, they were more threatening. I'd like to say that it was a game of 2 halves, but I'll be honest, it wasn't the most, ravishing Champions League final. It wasn't, 6-7 goals. It wasn't a thriller. It was more of a tactical match, and you had to really pay attention to the game to notice some of the beautiful things that were happening. I think a lot of people are making a big deal out of the fact that Kevin De Bruyne obviously got injured and unfortunately had to come off, and it seems to be a never-ending cycle of the main player of a team getting substituted or getting injured in the final and having to come off. It happened to Ronaldo in 2016 at the Euros.
You can't carry on with it.
This happened to De Bruyne last night. It's obviously upsetting to see. With that being said, however, N'Golo Kante had control of the midfield fully. He was covering every blade of grass.
Sterling onto De Bruyne, won't get there though. Kante nicks it off him. Here come Chelsea. It's left there for Foden, and easily dealt with by N'Golo Kante. Foden tackled by Kante. Kevin De Bruyne, excellent tackle by N'Golo Kante.
And it's hard to say it would have been any different with De Bruyne having played the full game if he never got injured. I'm not particularly sure why the formation changed. I'm not sure if Chelsea's formation that they usually play, obviously the 3-4-3 that they play almost, I'm not sure if that was one of the reasons as to why he thought, let's put a more attacking team out and benefit from the fact that they're playing 3 at the back. I'm not entirely sure. Final like that, you need to start strikers, you need to start clinical strikers, and I'm not even just saying this because he's one of my favourite players, but Aguero should have started that game. I felt like he looked good in his last game of the season and previously. Any chance he got, he kind of put it away. I know, big mistake against Chelsea, the Panenka penalty previously, but you move on past that. Big players make mistakes and they can move on past them. So I feel like he should have started that game. I would have had Ruben Diaz and John Stones at the back as normal. I would have had played Zinchenko on the left, Kyle Walker on the right. I would have had Fernandinho as a holding midfielder, Foden, and then De Bruyne, Sterling on one side, Mahrez on one side, Aguero up front. That's just my personal opinion. I just think that would have worked better against Chelsea. even in the formation that Guardiola chose to play, I think things would have been a little bit more different if he decided to start a holding midfielder. However, he didn't, and they paid the price. Sterling had a really good chance at the beginning of the game. Reece James had him in his pocket for the whole game, and Reece James put in a really good shift, a really good performance, and he's probably put Southgate under a lot of pressure now, with potentially, you know, him getting called up to the English team. I don't think he will, but that was a performance worthy of, you know, a call up, in my opinion. I feel like Zinchenko had a really bad game. I also think Foden had a bad game. The only player that I really think had a decent game from City was Kyle Walker. That's the only person I can really think of that put in a bit of a shift. But I feel like the game would have been a little bit different if they would have played a holding midfielder and a striker up front. Not to take away from Chelsea's performance nonetheless, because Chelsea lined up the perfect way. They started amazingly. I generally do feel like N'Golo Kante has put in a good enough shift, and I think he's put in a good enough case for him to potentially be in contention for a Ballon d'Or this year. And honestly, I think nobody would bat an eyelid if he did win it, because there is no better person or a nicer person in football than N'Golo Kante. Listen, even as I don't support Man City and I don't support Chelsea, but if I did, and if I supported Man City and Chelsea would have won, I think my pain wouldn't have been as bad, because I could see Kante being happy and I could see the performance that he put in. Yeah, so Kante was man of the match, to no surprise. He's been man of the match in previous games in the Champions League. Reece James, I think he was quite close. Kai Havertz had a really good performance, obviously the goal scorer, and it's nice to see Kai Havertz actually, you know, starting to grow into his role within the team and growing into his name, and the pressure that was put on his name with being such an amazing youngster and such a young talent. Amazing again for Mason Mount. You know, he came through the ranks at Chelsea. It's just you know, a fairy tale story for him, which is amazing to see. I guess what baffles me and what's really painful is the fact that I know that was Aguero's last game. For your last game for a club that you've helped so much and you've had such historical moments with them, for you not to start and to lose the Champions League, yeah, it's hard. I'm not sure of Man City's formation. They obviously started, they had Bernardo Silva playing at centre mid with Foden and Gundogan. I just think that not playing a holding midfielder has muddled up how Foden and De Bruyne would perform, because they had to do an extra bit shift of tracking back and doing more defensive work, where if Fernandinho or Rodri would play, you know, that wouldn't be so much on your mind. Of course, you'd still track back as a midfielder, but it wouldn't be primarily the main thing that you'd be concerned with. And Chelsea lined up with a 3-4-2-1. Havertz, Mount, Werner up front. They were using their fullbacks to the full extent. You know, Chilwell was pushing up, and James as well. But James was putting in a shift at the back as well, and he had Sterling completely folded the whole game. But what a performance by Chelsea! Absolutely fantastic, well-deserved trophy. I'm really happy to see it. I'm really happy that the English fans managed to get out there and actually watch their team win the trophy, which makes it so much more special. And I'm sure they've helped Chelsea in that game last night with, you know, being able to be there. But yeah, I feel like Man City, through bad choices in terms of lineups and decisions in terms of managerial decisions, I feel like they've lost that Champions League based on that. The way Kante played last night, it's hard for me to even say that with Fernandinho it would have been different, because he was playing out of his skin, and he plays out of his skin all the time. So for a person that made his debut, professional debut, 7-8 years ago, and then has won numerous Premier Leagues since, you know, he got promoted in France in 2014. You know, he signed his first professional contract in France, got promoted from Ligue 2 to Ligue 1. Then he got transferred to Leicester. 1 year after, he wins arguably the most historic Premier League win, them and Man City winning it in the last second. But, you know, it's the most feel-good moment for a small club to win the Prem. And then moves on to Chelsea, wins the Premier League again, you know, then wins the Europa League, wins the World Cup, wins the Champions League. You know, he's putting up, like, you know, he's got some of the accolades that a lot of these players, you know, Messi hasn't got a World Cup. And you know why Messi hasn't got a World Cup? Because, say for example, Messi was on his path to winning the World Cup in the 2018 World Cup. Who did they meet? They met France, and Messi was in N'Golo Kante's pocket the whole game. So, you know, he's done it on high stages. He's capable of doing this. You know, there is no reason, if France put in a really good performance, then I honestly can't comprehend why his name wouldn't be in contendership for winning the Ballon d'Or. Him and Lewandowski are the two players that deserve it. I think Messi also does, based on the numbers that he put up, but the club hasn't won anything really. I mean, they obviously won Copa del Rey, but, you know, that's a small trophy. And I mean, in Spain it is a big trophy, but, you know, in the grand scheme of things, it's not a huge trophy. But yeah, this is it. Congratulations to Chelsea. Commiserations to Man City. But yeah, get back at it next season. And see how it goes, I suppose. If you guys enjoyed the video and you like my analysis, let me know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. Please make sure to like the video, share it, and please, it would mean a lot if you guys could subscribe to the channel. I'm bringing out a lot more content. I'm about to bring out a new series right before the Euros. You know, I'm gonna do a group analysis, each individual group, and I'm gonna, you know, go through and I'll tell you who I actually think will come out of every group, and in the end who will be the winner in my eyes, and see how wrong or right I am. Probably wrong, but yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Take care and see ya.